minutes late probably to start the session, but it's good to have you all here. Well, quick note on the top of what G brought us earlier. We are here to discuss how experiential learning, how working with real clients inside business school classes can actually be helpful for the students, how much benefit they can gain out of that, and how much we can modify the whole learning process for the students, for the benefit of the students, obviously, through delivering those course learning outcomes that we are following through each course, and how this experience of working with real clients can add more value to the classes. Okay, the agenda, I'm going to do the introduction. Basically, I'm going to talk about Ripen. We have Ripen. The desk is right over there as well. So you can go take a look at it as well if you're not familiar with it. And how we embrace the opportunity that Ripen provided with us, for us at University of Canada West. I'm going to go through the literature review. Nice, Gabriella will go through that. And then Vaishali will continue through the analytics, and we're going to do the final considerations in the end, and hopefully, we get something out of it here today, and we enjoy. Okay, I've been teaching business courses for the last probably 15, 16 years, different places all around the world, but what we always needed inside business classes, calling it marketing, calling it strategy, business planning, whatever, was the fact that, students are very much disconnected from what's happening outside. I mean, the textbooks are always textbooks. There are theories. Come on in, guys. There are theories. There are frameworks that we discuss inside textbooks, but they don't feel real. I mean, I remember myself when I was a student, and for us, the only connection that we had with real life businesses were those case studies that we were given by professors. But still, we felt a lot of disconnection between what you find in the book and those real cases. But then we figured, what if there's opportunity to actually bring a client to the class, a client that is actually living outside the context of the university and dealing with their own hassle of the business, and bring that experience to our classes, let students actually feel that, and live with it, live through the challenges, and not pay for all those mistakes, right? So what we figured is there are different ways that faculty, professors, instructors, even in colleges, they bring these experiences into the classes. What we have always been doing was, we were reaching out to our own, connections, trying to find, I know this, I know that, and, bringing those people to the classes, and hopefully things will get well. But then we found Ripen that provided a complete set of platform for us and connected us. But what we have studied through different research, we found that different researchers describe those client-based projects, but none of them address the faculty perspective in very detail, and that's what we're going to do here. Can you play the video? Okay, so what we have done with Ripen, basically what the platform that Ripen created for us is, I like to introduce that in my classes, and I say, this is with all good intentions, right? I call Ripen Uber. Yeah. I said, Uber created an infrastructure that connects the passengers, people, with the drivers. Drivers trust the system because they know that, I can find, enough clients, people, right? And people trust the system because they believe that, there will be a driver. So Uber is just sitting there and connecting these two together. That's exactly what Ripen is doing with us. Ripen has provided a proper platform for businesses to have a profile page for themselves over there, explain their expectations from what they're doing. A startup business may want to go, promote their business, or a well-established small business again is looking for improvements in whatever they're doing. They introduce their businesses to that platform, knowing, well, there will be a professor who is actually, well, who has their own page, their own profile, explaining what they expect their students to do. And Ripen is sitting right there, connecting these, well, drivers and passengers together. It comes with a lot of advantages for us. I mean, I don't need to rely on my own connections because, well, my connections are gonna, well, finish at some point. But now I have access to a platform which provides me a lot of businesses or individuals, startups, small businesses. At the same time, those companies believe that, well, there is a professor. It's not just a group of students that they're working on that project. No. But those students are working under the supervision of a professor who has experience in this field. Well, students know that they can try with a business and not to pay for the mistakes that they are making. And at the same time, businesses know that the professor is running this project. There is some good coming out of that, and they're not going to pay for it. This is a whole picture of the platform. I'm just going to stop my part here, but I think I'm going to go over. And Gabrielle, thank you.
So we ran some literature review to make sure that we're not reinventing the wheel, that we're doing something new, of course. And we know that client-based projects, they are really powerful for learning because, we're actually bringing those industries. But when looking into faculty perspectives, we couldn't find lots of research because we care more about the students and the wellness of the students than our own wellness most of the times, right? We found some research. And from those, we could see that the faculty would see that it is good. It is critical for, critical thinking, for teamwork, for building those core competencies. And they do see this as a beneficial for workforce preparation too. And also, they understand that it supports faculty research and institutional reputation. Because, if you work with real clients, you get your institution out there as well. However, there is some tension between the academic interests and the client interests. And that's something that we also notice. I'm not going to give some spoilers about the analysis, but we also noticed that because clients have different goals than we have as academic goals. We have our rubrics, we have our, standards, and the clients are looking sometimes for something else. And the student readiness and long-term client impacts are also common challenges because sometimes the students are not prepared to have that contact. And of course, how can we prepare them better, right? And of course, the long term. When we finish a project, what happens next? What is the follow-up on that? Right now, most of the times what we do is we finish a project and the follow-up sometimes goes, like the client goes to another class or something like that. But we're looking at those in our literature. And we found 4 researches so far about Ripen as a client-based tool. So not a lot. We are recognizing this as a good contribution. They see that they do see benefit, but face challenges pretty similar to what we are looking for. Their concerns include the cost, workload, and process disruption. Because sometimes, the process of having the client might disrupt, a schedule in class, for example. And other studies will focus most on student outcomes. None of them are focusing on Ripen and faculty experiences. So we are pretty new. And some of the gaps, we don't have longitudinal data on career impact. How are those projects actually impacting the careers of the professors, right? And we are missing the cost-benefit analysis for institutions, right? So what's the cost-benefit for the institution in this sense? So we ran in-depth interviews. This is mostly an exploratory, it's our first incursion in the topic, so we figured that the qualitative approach was the best. And we ran of course, all the process was approved by the Research and Ethics Board of UCW, so everything is approved and done within the standards. So we ran a screening survey and we got 24 responses within the UCW faculty. We decided to run this in-house first because this is an exploratory study, but in the future we are intending to expand. And in the end, we got 14 interviewees from the Department of Marketing Strategy, Entrepreneurship, at University Campus West. Now, I'll send it over to Vaishali, and she's going to talk a little bit about our findings.
Questions?
Yeah. I can talk about the questions block. So we created a few question blocks to guide our perception. So first, we went for general perceptions on client-based learning. So what exactly are they looking for, comparing to their experience of independently sourcing clients and using Ripen. So that was one of the criteria that we had. We needed professors that had both the experiences so they could compare. We also have challenges with the client-based projects, engagement and relationship building challenges with the clients, sourcing criteria and how you choose the alignment of the project. We also asked about the features of the platform and how faculty understood them. And then we went for faculty development and growth. So how does this contribute or not to their growth, and student learning and support? So how does this support the students in the end?
Thank you so much, Gabriela. Yeah. So when I want to talk about this analysis, we found really interesting insights about all of these different question blocks what we had. So to begin with, first block, which was on general perceptions of client-based learning from the faculty members. So most of the faculty members, of course, valued this client-based project teaching methodology because they understood that there's a high value in learning for this kind of a method. So definitely it boosts student motivation and it helps them to have some kind of real world engagement. Another important aspect was that how by enhancing like these kind of projects, they help them to enhance their critical thinking, also their professional skills by bridging the gap between what they're learning in the theory and what has to be applied in the practice, so in the real world environment. And again, a lot of faculty members felt that it enhances the overall student accountability because they feel that they're now responsible towards an external stakeholder. So they're not just working on the project only for the marks, but also they have another sense of responsibility and accountability for the external stakeholders, which are the clients. So it helps them to have more motivation, it increases their commitment, and they try to do their best. One of the limitations which a lot of faculty members again pointed out that yes, it definitely relies heavily on the client what we get, because again it depends on their involvement. If the client is not involved too much, then probably it can hinder the overall progress and overall understanding and learning for the students. So that was one of the perception which we want to highlight. Then to talk about the comparison of client sourcing methods. So we have this, we asked most of the professors, like Gabriela already mentioned, we had this criteria in our screening tool that whoever we were interviewing, the participants, they should have both the experiences. So some of them, yes, of course, Ripen was praised a lot for such an accessible platform, and it was scalable, and it gives you a very structured platform where you can easily create your courses, duplicate them in a very easy manner, and you can reach out to a lot of different kind of industries, different kind of clients, different even in different geographical areas as well. So it was praised a lot in those cases. However, there were a few challenges as well, where sometimes there were a few vague scopes, like client was expecting something else, but it did not match with the instructors or students' learning outcomes. So there was some possibility. There were some kind of communication delays, and also some of the faculty members faced occasional client dropouts. So we're going to discuss what the reasons are for that. So sometimes, the clients are not very much invested or involved in in those kind of projects or giving that learning enhancement to the students. So there were a few cases when clients dropped out in the midway of the project, which was not good for faculty members and students. However, when we compare with the independent sourcing of the clients, most of the professors, most of the faculty members, they they said that they have stronger engagement, better, clearer expectations, and they invest more time in the projects because clients already know those. Professors already know those clients, so they come from their own network in some way or another. So they have an earlier engagement, an earlier relationship, which they build on, and then that can be used. However, we then came up with a hybrid strategy, and also it was justified by a lot of other professors. They're saying that yes, they do trust their networks, they prioritize their own networks, but again, like it was mentioned earlier, that how long they're going to rely on their own networks. It is limited. It is going to end at one point of time. So for sure, they take Ripen as a backup, as a follow-up strategy, right? So that's what most of the professors share. Now, talking about the challenges with client-based projects. So we understood the client-based projects as a whole pedagogy, and the challenges are being looked at from three different perspectives. One is integration of these client-based projects into the whole curriculum. One was according to the students, if there are some challenges with the students while they're doing these kind of projects, and also with the Ripen as a platform. So there can be few challenges from there as well. So first of all, the main challenge for most of the professors was to find a suitable client, right? So it was really difficult for most of the professors to find the right client where the business needs align with their student and their course objectives. So as a professor, as a faculty member, it is very important to align all the assignments with our course learning outcomes or the student learning outcomes. So that was the main challenge. Okay. And then another challenge was inconsistent client engagement. So as I mentioned, whether it is through Ripen or their own network, if the client is not engaging, like the communication is ending at some point of time, or they're not responding to emails on time, it may result in, again, not a very valuable experience as a whole. Sometimes client also had a lot of unrealistic expectations. They expected to get some result as a professional, like they treat students as a marketing professional or as a consultant, business consultant, which was again not true, and that's what it resulted in some miscommunications. And then we also had some student-related challenges where sometimes students are not very well prepared, like they do not have that appropriate communication skills, how to deal with the clients. They have limited real-world experience, so they did not know how to provide them solutions. And sometimes there are group dynamics, like some of the members of the groups are not working as per the other members. And there can be different academic versus client demands, like mentioned, that maybe they're working according to the rubrics, but client demands may be something else. So these were some of the challenges we found out with student-related. Ripen specific issues were usually related to scope creep. Like again, the scope was established in the beginning, but midway somewhere scope got expanded. So as clients started expecting more. So that was one of the challenges which was shared, that we had some vague briefs and some misaligned timelines, because again, we understand clients are also very busy, and also they may not be able to align with the project timeline or according to the term timeline. And also with independent clients, we had this, although they're more engaging, they're more involved, but it's a lot of time consuming when we have to really look for a client, invest in them. So the onboarding takes a lot of time, and occasionally we overreach a particular client. So our overall, the overall, it just overreaches, right? So we are reaching one client again and again, which is not good. So talking about another, which is client engagement and relationship building. So here we try to ask and compare how does this client engagement and relationship building varies according to the kind of sourcing we have. Either it is from Ripen or from the independent client. So for Ripen, again, a lot of faculty members reported they are often less responsive, or there are some communication gaps like missed emails or lack of feedback, or some unclear expectations are there. Mostly they believe that perceived lower commitment is due to a free service model. So there is no monetary expenses are involved, so for the student and for the client. So maybe that is why they kind of take things for granted, maybe. And then platform is, of course, seen as good for sourcing, but it was perceived as a little bit weak in ongoing support. However, for independent clients, more commitment and communication was there due to pre-existing relationships, and they believed that, okay, we have just a few more, clear understanding of academic context and student role. At the end of the day, the moral is, yes, engagement does matter because it helps to foster deeper and more reflective learning. Going to them, I'm going to quickly go through these analyses. These are important, but I understand that we have less time. So, yeah. Okay. So then we talked about the sourcing criteria and project alignment. So again, the most important criteria for most of the faculty members was to fit with course objectives. So the project should fit with their course objectives. The skill levels should match for entry-level students or advanced, like those who are near graduation. Very important for them was client commitment and clarity, how important it is for client to get involved. Also, some of them give preference to geographic and time zone fit, like they prefer local or Canadian clients to match with the time zones. And a lot of professors did early communication meetings, like initial setup meeting to understand their perspectives. And for independent clients, again, they mentioned that it was more adaptable and they understood the students' need better. Talking about the Ripen platforms, again, we found a lot of strengths and weaknesses. Also, there were few improvement suggestions, I think, which is really important for Ripen. So, just going over, I know we do not have a lot of time, but yes, for strengths, it had a lot of organized templates, a lot of client access, structured interface, and everything. But limitations were also there that, again, a lot of them, it said that there was poor client vetting, vague briefs, and all of these. So quickly going over faculty development and growth. So a lot of faculty members express their happiness that yes, they are able to achieve a lot of things when they're pursuing client-based projects. They get to know about industry insights. They are able to develop new teaching pedagogies and build their own consulting experience. Some of them also mentioned that it gives them opportunity for research and, of course, for networking with external clients. Just two more slides, sorry. And then we had the student learning and support. For them, again, we had a lot of good insights for student learning, how it provides a lot of real-world applications, higher engagement, because students are getting involved in the client-based projects. It helps them to develop their critical thinking, teamwork, communication skills, client perspective awareness. They get to know about what clients are thinking as business owners and not just what they're learning in theory. And of course, for faculty, they have to support them and understand their challenges to shorten the overall challenges which are there.
Yeah, I think you can pass to the next one.
Okay. The final.
So, yeah, just to wrap it up, 30 seconds pitch here. We do need a stronger onboarding experience and expectation management, right? Because lots of the challenges that we found were related to that. Also, tailored support for student readiness. Even though we offer support, students need a little bit more in terms of like how they are able to connect with those clients. Building faculty and industry networks is really, really important. And this could be achieved through Ripen, but having something that is stronger than a one-time relationship is going to be proven to be really, really effective. And also improve the platform vetting and matching. Because sometimes we are seeing that those clients, they were repeatedly not really engaged, but the platform matching process could be improved in that sense. And we understand that the faculty development through client-based learning is a positive thing that should be addressed more, even more, and design courses around projects, because sometimes we are designing our courses and then we're introducing the projects. Whether, in another sense, we can see that it's more effective when you have the project and then you have the course around it. So yeah, that's pretty much it that we have. We're open for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for